to do both of those things, plus hundreds more with little or no cash. Maybe you're a business owner with a cash flow problem that leads to low or non-existing profits. Read this book and see how you can increase your cash flow and your profits by time-proven techniques. The book again is No Cash, No Problem, and you can buy it now online at www.tantalknetwork.com. Click on the book and follow the instructions, or pick up the phone and call Lola at 727-441-3311. The book costs only $6.99. So do yourself a favor and buy the book today.
There's a new show on Tan Talk 1340. It's imho.love. That's in my humble opinion.love, featuring me, comedian Lou Angelwolf, and comedian Chris Gorgeous, Beth Snyder, who is our staff hypnotherapist, and of course our teacher into the exo consciousness, Michael Murburg.
Yes, where we believe that the greatest wisdom is kindness and love unites us all.
Amen. And there's a bit of profundity every week at 7:30 on Tan Talk.
Hello out there. Tune in every Saturday at noon on Tan Talk for Connecting Caregivers with me, Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for the caregivers. Every Saturday at noon, we will find resources, education, and a shoulder for the caregivers. I know it's tough, but we can work it out together. Look forward to you tuning in on Saturdays at noon, where you'll have tons of information. Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for the caregivers.
Hey, did you know there's a live psychology talk show Thursday and Friday at noon where you can call in and get free guidance and also learn several different topics relating to ending the stigma on mental health? It's called Moments of Clarity on WTAN 1340 AM. It's with licensed therapist Tiffany Warner, who will try to end the stigma on mental health. But the only way you can do that is to listen to Moments of Clarity Thursday and Friday at noon on WTAN 1340 AM, the Tan Talk Radio Network.
The Brian Cash Claus Radio Show. More business for your business every Thursday at 106.1 FM, 1340 AM. Local business owners, listen up. We direct more customers through your doors with a printed coupon book and radio show. More business for your business. Call 727-600-4889. That's 727-600-4889.
When you think about it, a flag isn't a whole heck of a lot of anything. It's fabric sewn to a stick. It needs the wind to do its job. A flag may not be much, but when it's a lightning bolt waving above your front door, that makes it everything. Sometimes the thunder you can see is loudest of all.
Be the Thunder this Thursday. Lightning versus Red Wings, 7:30 p.m. Tickets at TampaBayLightning.com.
Don't turn it off now. You need this stuff. Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to the imho.love show. I'm Lou Angelwolf, and here in the studio with me is my buddy, my pal, Michael Murburg. How you doing on sound there, buddy?
A little loud.
You're a little loud?
A little loud.
Okay, I think you're coming in right on this port right here.
Okay.
And how's that? Is that better?
Maybe a little bit louder.
A little bit louder?
That's about right. Right there.
All right, and okay. Very good. No, I'm cutting out. Dang it.
Shit, man. Well,
okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. It's just a thing. Well, welcome everybody. This is we're tweaking this technical difficulty stuff here.
Yes, you've seen the Flintstones before.
Yeah. Well, that's my computer aptitude here. Pete, can you show me how to put it up on my? Hold on. There we go. So, right. Okay. So anyway, folks, welcome to the show, and sorry for all the scratchiness. But, you know, we're trying to combine a couple different mediums here, and we're just going to have a good time. We're going to have a good show. Tonight's topic is the Library of Babel, or the immensity of information. What we'll be touching on throughout the day or throughout the show tonight is the amount of information that is available to all of us. In fact, the internet made everyone, worthy and not, an author if they should so choose to be.
Yeah.
And
in a constantly expanding universe, it's constantly expanding with the rest of it.
Exactly. And that's what this show is about. It's in my humble opinion, which is imho, and .love is a new suffix you can get instead of .com or .net. And there we are. Okay. All right. And welcome, everybody. Hello, Pama. Hi, Rose. Welcome to the show. And we had a 7:30 kickoff, but I guess we're off a little bit late. So, okay. Anyway, the show every week is about CE5, which is Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. And those are human-initiated extraterrestrial outreaches through prayer and meditation, and a very, very successful way to do it, by the way, if you're looking to expand your consciousness past this earthly confine. The CE5 is something that a lot of people are really discovering. It's becoming more and more popular every day. Michael has an extensive list of CE5 groups all over the world, and we're very, very happy to be one of the first radio shows, podcast broadcasts.
Well, actually, we are the first CE5 radio broadcast.
Wow, that's really something.
Yeah, it is.
You never know what you're going to get into.
Yeah, and unlike Coast to Coast Radio that carries a lot of things that really aren't CE5 related.
Yes.
That's all we do is CE5 and related topics. And in that regard, I have to give myself a pitch. If you guys want a free protocol, hit me up at Murburg at disabilityattorney.net. And I'll make sure you get a free protocol. If you want to actually go online, Celia Hatch is a good friend of mine, and she's up in Calgary, and she does CE5s up in Calgary. And she has written the CE5 handbook, which you can buy at www.ace5handbook.com.
Okay.
So if you're out there and you want to get involved in this and you don't know how to do it, there's some of my friends have written in that and they've made contributions. So if you don't know exactly what approach to this is right for you, you might want to try Celia's book.
Very good. And to recap that, if you go to disabilityattorney.net, just spelled just like it sounds, disabilityattorney.net, go to the page, go through the prompts. Michael will send you a CE5 protocol. It's very, very interesting, folks. And it's the next thing for seekers. If you have, you've been looking around, you've been staring at the stars your whole life, and you're wondering where this is all going to end. We don't know, but we can definitely tell you that this is an avenue of travel. And the CE5 is Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. And like I said, we approach the extraterrestrials with a soft and open heart, and we bear no malice. We have no agenda. There's no money attached to this project. So I believe the overall effort is as pure as humans can get it, because that's all we really want to do. We want to communicate with our brothers and sisters, or whatever they call themselves, and they do communicate back with us. In fact, every month, Michael has a CE5 gathering out there at Area 52, and we've had some very, very successful contacts. How was last week's?
Well, actually, it was wonderful. We had one of our members is
Get close.
One of our members is also a MUFON member, and Ken Glanister,
and MUFON is
Mutual UFO Network. And what I'm doing is I'm actually lecturing at their organizational meeting in Valrico on the 20th at about noontime. And once again, if you're interested in that, just hit me up at my website.
The 20th, like Saturday?
Like Saturday, yeah. I'm lecturing MUFON on CE5 with one of my members, Lee Spooner.
Oh, lovely.
Lee's a great guy.
He's a good dude.
And my group is a little bit different. My protocol is a little bit different. It's a forgiveness-based protocol, forgiveness and gratitude-based protocol. And the invocation that we use is rather special. We actually do convocations and have craft and UFO and entities show up visibly outside even before the sun goes down, and they show up because they love us. We also have a very wonderful core group that knows how to meditate and get into proper states of mind, of spirit, of mind, body, spirit. And they help bring the rest of the members of the group along. So a lot of members who come in for the first time, we've never done this before, never seen anything. You remember what it was like when we first started doing this, a couple of years ago. It was like, if you're out in the field for 8 hours, you're lucky if you see like one or two phenomena, and you're like thrilled that you saw something.
Yes.
And now we're getting them once every 15 minutes.
Yeah, well, they're starting to get used to our schedule.
Yeah, they are. It's like the A train local. But Ken has been good enough to start putting together videos of our CE5s out there, and they're going on to a YouTube channel that he made for us, and we're attracting more people. Equipment isn't what it's all about, but a lot of people like to see what shows up, because many people still don't know what this is, and a lot of people don't believe that it actually works. So what I'll be doing, I also post the show on a bunch of different CE5, I wouldn't call them affiliates, but we'll mention who they are later on in the show. There's a lot of them. And once again, you mentioned that there's no money involved, and there is no money involved. This is self-supporting radio.
Yes.
I mean, you and I pitch our pennies in every couple of months, and we were able to publish this.
Yeah.
And we've been blessed with the people that have asked us to come on the show, and that we've talked to. We have Kevin Briggs hopefully lined up to come on in.
It's funny. Pamela and I have been talking about Kevin Briggs. She really tapped into his energy down in Miami.
Yeah.
And Kevin Briggs is a channeler. In fact, he channeled a Anunnaki spokesperson.
Well, actually, it was he channeled Ra for us at the convention. He's actually got a handler, very intelligent man from the north of England, and actually he showed up at the CE5 last month, and we had wonderful results with him.
Beautiful.
Yeah, he's
but
great.
he's a very, very peaceful soul. And let me just finish the original front bumper here, ladies and gentlemen. The imho.love show, in my humble opinion, and these are all just humble opinions. But what we can tell you is we go through some trouble to collect them and gather them and present them to you. And there's three elements to the show. There's the CE5, of course, which we started out talking about. And we also have humor, which we abbreviate to the ha-ha, because all of us have a comedy background.
Or the aha.
Or the aha is the follow-up. That's a little-known fact that we like to share somehow throughout the hour. Just, little pieces of less reported news. Let's just put it that way. And you can hear the show every week. It gets recorded. Our girl, Kathy Trent McGuire, records everything and puts it on imho.love. We're also on Facebook Live. We were a little wobbly starting out this evening on that, but that'll get better.
We're trying some new things here. We got some special surprises. Don't worry.
Well, Pete has this wonderful new. Look at that thing. Look at that dark mirror over there. That thing's that thing looks like it has like direct connection to something.
Yeah, it's the alienblog.com.
I love it. It's called Alienware, and that's like a top end thing. And I'm really, really happy that you have that, and I'm very, very pleased you're sharing it with us.
Absolutely, of course. And like I said, on the breaks tonight, we're going to try something where you don't listen to any news and breaks on the live. Of course, you're going to hear it on the radio station, but when you're on live, you're going to hear something different.
How about that?
Yes.
Thank you, Peter Blake.
Yes, sir.
That's great. And the show is also broadcast on YouTube right here out of Tan Talk, right, Pete?
That is correct.
Okay,
yes.
on the Tan Talk network, we're broadcasting on YouTube.
Yep, Tan Talk Radio.
Tan Talk Radio, and is it live on the website at the same time?
Absolutely. It's tantalkradio.com, tantalknetwork.com. Tan Talk Radio on YouTube, tantalknetwork.com right now live streaming, and then, of course, on Facebook.
Yes, very good.
So you got multiple platforms, and you also have a phone call.
And we got Podomatic, and we also have, there's one more area that you can watch the show. I know I send them money every month. Oh, it's on BitChute.
There you go.
And I tell you what, BitChute, even though most people have not heard of BitChute yet, that is it's a permanent record. They can't, it's a link chain. What's the
link chain?
Link chain?
Oh, okay.
Okay. And it can't be taken a while. It can't be taken. It's not part of a platform. This is a permanent internet file.
Wow.
So
cool.
That's why. So you never know what's going to happen to YouTube or Facebook. Because
they listen to your, and if they don't like you, you're gone.
Yeah, that was a very interesting quote I saw today. It says, "What if your friends just shut you off because they didn't like what you were talking about?" That's what our relationship with Facebook is.
Or you lose your phone number because they don't like what you're talking to your friends about on the telephone.
Yes. So whatever. I mean, and here's the thing: in this world, and that's what we're talking about tonight, is the ever expanding bands of information that are out there. And kind of the, hi, Jackie and Anthony. Hey, Matt Anthony's coming back, by the way. Matt Anthony's coming back on Halloween night.
Oh, cool.
So we're going to have a Halloween show with Matt Anthony.
Cool.
And he's going to bring some flat earth and anti-NASA stuff.
I can't wait. I'll bring my antimatter with me.
Bring it. You got a whole vial of it.
Yeah, in case it doesn't make any sense, I'll throw antimatter at him and see if the whole philosophy of flat Earth goes away.
Well, anyway, they do have some fascinating arguments. That's all I'm saying.
Can't wait.
And it's in our humble opinion.
Can't wait.
Because you're tall, but you're not that tall.
I know, but I am too big to fail. Which
you and AIG.
We'll get into that later. Yeah, right.
Well, anyway, folks, so that's what the show's about. And what the CE5 really brings to us is the ability to step to another level of what we're calling exoconsciousness. That's a consciousness outside of what you're currently is available to you, but that is currently available. It's a... there's somebody on the other end that.
Talk about other. Do we have a phone call coming in?
Oh, do we have a?
We do have a phone
I'm
call.
sorry,
Yes.
Pete. I'm
That's
sorry.
all right. No problem.
Welcome to imho.love. Welcome.
Hello. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, I hear you fine.
Hey, Ray.
Yes, this is Ray. How are you, gentlemen?
Hey, Ray. Thanks for calling in. Nice. Good to hear your voice.
No, thank you for the invitation. And by the way, both of you are too big to fail.
There's a fallacy in size, believe me. Too big to fail means it will fail.
We wobble.
Look,
and we.
I just want to tell you guys something real quick, and then I'll hang up.
No, stay with us.
No, I'm waiting for my daughter at 8 o'clock. She gets out.
Okay.
And my wife, she had an operation for an aneurysm several days ago. And so yesterday we were in the hospital, and a friend of ours stayed very, very late. She's a lady from Colombia, and she told me she had no idea. She overheard me talking in Spanish about ovnis, which means UFO in Spanish. This is about maybe 2 years ago or so.
Uh-huh.
And then she asked me, Ray, what do you know about ovnis,
Uh-huh.
I said, my wife, Dulce never told you? And she goes, no. I said, well, sit down. And I told her all of our story, and then she tells me a story that she was a school teacher in a rural Catholic school south of Cali in Colombia, in this city called Candelaria, like candle and then aria.
Okay.
And then she even told me the name of the Catholic school. I got it all written down. I even Googled it and saw the outlet, the school. And so she was a first grade teacher or kindergarten teacher. And all the lower grades, all the kids were dismissed for recess, and all the teachers were meeting, just like John Mack, the John Mack story. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, all the kids came running in, hysterical, and what they described was that little saucer craft landed in the school. They had like acres and acres. It was all rural. And these three little beings descended, these little grays, and then communicated without using their mouths. And then they started the teachers were asking them questions, asking to draw it. They drew the beings, they drew the craft. The same thing as Dr. Mack.
Wow.
And then, so anyway, she told me that a long time ago, and I noted down all the details of it. And so what happened was my wife has a very, very close friend, also from where she's at in Mexico, in Veracruz, Mexico. And about 2.5 years ago, when we were there for New York, we stayed at her place. and we had her entire house because she was going to Mexico for 2 weeks on vacation.
Right.
So then we told her for the first time all of our, story. And then she finally said her experiences when she was young. She said when she was small, these grays used to play with her.
Really?
Not one time, multiple times, these little grays. And she said that one of the things that she remembered was like ring around the rosy. They will hold hands and go around in a circle type of thing. And she says there was a lot of games that they played with her. And then one time when she was in college, she's a chemistry teacher in New York, and she was a chemist in Mexico for Pemex, the petroleum company.
Uh-huh.
A very bright, educated lady. And so what she said when she had pulled an all-nighter, and she was, dead tired, and then she said all of a sudden 3 little grays appeared to her, and all of a sudden she got happy. And she's telling me all of this, and then they came with her. Then the 3 of them, each of them held their hands, and she watched them as they went around like in a little circle, just to remind her that, they played with her,
Wow.
And she was like freaking out, and they stayed, I forgot, a certain amount of time. And then I think she went to sleep after that. I think that's what she told me. But here I was, she had called me on the phone when we were in the hospital in the waiting room. And here I hooked them both up together on FaceTime, and they were talking to each other. And then I interrupted between both of them while they were on FaceTime getting to know each other. I said, both of you have something in common.
That's fantastic.
And then I told the story to each other. They were like freaking out. They were like, because these are people I never told anyone, no one.
Really?
The lady in New York City, only her father, because her father had an experience with a big orb outside of their ranch in Mexico.
Right.
I won't give you all the details, but it's a lengthy detail. And then the other one, the lady from Colombia, we were like the first people that she's ever told, because we finally admitted our story to her,
Well,
and, so just to let you know that there's tons. And then also, I talked to this guy today, this Puerto Rican guy. He works in a metal welding factory. They make metal lamps and metal things, right?
Right.
He had told me about 4 years ago that a street very, very close by here, Kendall, one of the major thoroughfares here, that they had seen a big, gigantic orb like the size of the moon at the level of telephone wires, and everyone saw it. All the cars, stopped, and the traffic was not flowing.
Right.
And there were 5 people in the car that saw that in his car. He had told me like 5 years ago. And he just called me right now because he sent me this video about a video that was taken in Latin America, a very up-close video.
Uh-huh.
And I told him, and I hadn't talked to this guy like in 6 months, okay? And so, and then I told him, look, there's a lot of fake stuff on YouTube. You just can't,
Sure.
accept any Mickey Mouse video that's sent to you.
Right.
So, and then that reminded me, because my Google calendar came on, at 7:30 when I was talking to this guy. I said, I better hang up with this guy because I got to call you guys. So, it wasn't coincidence. It was all like these triggering effects.
Well, Ray, I was just about to give you a shout out before you called in. And for those that don't know Ray Hernandez, that he is on the board of directors and the founding member of God, I've got when I need it, it's not there.
Free Foundation.
Yeah, the Free Foundation, and one of the authors of Beyond UFOs: The Science of Consciousness in Contact with Non-Human Intelligence. Ray has also been a speaker all over the country, but last he was at the Miami 2018 Free Consciousness in Contact Experiencer Conference. And what I was trying to grasp was experiencer.org is the website, and if you haven't taken the test there, if you are an experiencer, a contactee, please hit experiencer.org and take either 1, 2, or 3 phases of the study. And for those who don't know who John Mack was, Dr. John Mack was a professor of medicine at the Harvard Medical School, and he was a professor of psychiatry, and he's passed away, but he's one of the seminal members in this ET, non-human intelligent being experience that actually was treating 200 patients and did his own study on that, and kind of brought all this out of the closet and risked his own professional reputation as a professor, a tenured professor at Harvard, in doing that. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of us, like Ray, who's a gifted attorney, he's been many other things, and a PhD candidate at Berkeley. among a bunch of other smart people that are all part of the Experiencer.org Foundation. And I'll just interject that, Ray, what you kind of described in Candelaria was very similar to what's known as the aerial school phenomenon at Ruwa, Zimbabwe, which happened a few years back, and also Westall, Australia. It seems like this is becoming a more common phenomenon where the ETs are getting out of their craft and actually meeting with children. And there's actually a member.
Mike, she wasn't sure because it was a quick conversation with her, and I still see her like once a week or once every 2 weeks, and I always tell her, I gotta get you on video, and she always like pushes me aside. But I think it was the same year of the event with Dr. Mack. And I said, well, can you identify some of those kids or some of the teachers? He said, I remember some of the teachers' names, but it's been many, many years since she lived there. But, I even had a thought of getting like a newspaper ad, placing it in that city, and I'm sure you're bound to get a lot of those kids or people that still live there that remember that event, because it was the whole school. It was an entire Catholic school.
Wow. Well, you know what?
And also the drawings, just one last point. All the drawings, the nun who was the principal, kept all the drawings, destroyed them, and told all the kids and all the teachers, do not even mention this with the parents because we don't want this to get out.
Really?
That's kind of what the Catholic Church has been doing for 700 years.
Correct. And
Why would they break form?
It wasn't little boys. It was little beings.
Yeah. And actually, Ray, I've got an invitation from the UFO MegaCon March 24th through the 30th out in Laughlin, Nevada, and I hear that you.
Fantastic. I mentioned your name to invite you.
Well, thank you very much. So I'm taking it that you'll be speaking out there as well.
Myself, Dr. Rudy Shields, and Mary Rodwell, the three surviving co-founders. So they asked me any other good people, and I mentioned here in Florida, Alberto and you.
Well, I want to thank you, and I'll be working on a presentation there that has to do with spirituality as it's reflected in the paintings of a number of church paintings in the 14th century to the 19th century, and then its evolution to the art of Buddhism and my Tao spirituality and my own trail, my own breadcrumb trail from through the Tao and into exo consciousness and the ability to create CE5 consciousness and consciousness groups.
Wow, that's fantastic. Hey, we are at the top of the hour, and we've got to take a break. For everybody listening on Facebook, you're going to get a little special entertainment. You don't have to sit through the news and the ads. But if you're listening on terrestrial radio, hang with us. We got to report a little bit. Ray, thank you so much for calling.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much, and I hope to be invited up there for your next big shindig.
Well, you always have an open invitation.
Yeah, let me know. Just come on up.
All right.
Yeah, definitely. All right, gentlemen. Good night.
Thanks, Ray. Good night.
It was Ray Hernandez. I'm Lou Angelwolf. That's Michael Murburg over there. It's the top of the hour, and we've got to take a little break. Like I said, terrestrial people, you're going to get the news and some ads. But if you're listening on Facebook, our buddy Pete has hooked up something special for you. So we'll be back in just a little bit. Thank you so much.
WTAN, Clearwater,
FM 106.1,
WDCF, Dade City, Tampa Bay, WZHR, Zephyr Hills,
FM 104.3.
Listen.
Republican John Kennedy says the Saudis have a lot of explaining to do.
I think the Saudis are certainly acting like they did it.
Democrat Chris Coons says one thing the Senate could do in response is to impose sanctions against Saudi Arabia. And then there's this.
We also should be
Coming up next to the stage, Lou Angelwolf. Here he is, Lou Angelwolf.
How's everybody, all right? Hey, you're looking up here going, hey, look, Barry from Storage Wars got fat. Good to be back in Florida. I was just out in Texas, man, they got big bugs out there. They got mosquitoes so big there, after they bite you, they offer you orange juice and cookies. Are you feeling okay, man? From Texas, I went up to Kansas. You know what Kansas could use? A hill. It's the flattest place in the world. In Kansas, you can watch your dog run away for 3 days. You stand on a can of tuna fish, you can watch them 2 more days. You stand on a brick, you can see the back of your own head. The Midwest, I went up to Iowa, they got drug problems in Iowa, do you know that? Yeah, the kids out there are smoking cracked corn. You're buying from some guy named Jimmy. He don't care. Let my hair grow back. I'm actually let my bad hair grow out. I was in New Jersey, worst haircut of my life, $80. I should have known the place was called, hey, it'll grow back. Oh, man. I'm lucky to have hair. I'm happy to have hair. It turned gray. They said you're going to turn gray when you're 50, Lou. I was 50 for a half an hour. And somebody blew a powdered donut in my face. I got great chest hair. Yeah, I even got some gray down in the shrubbery. Kind of a salt and pepper affair. My girlfriend says I look distinguished. Well, I've been married twice. I would love to get married again. I would. But the third's got to be the charm. That's got to be the one. Because you go past 3, 4, 5. It may not be them. Relationships are hard. They really are. There's so much you gotta know. Now we have relationships with sleep etiquette. You have to get along while you're sleeping. As if relationships aren't hard enough. Or the time we get a little wet, we're still judged on that. The sleep etiquette is hard. It really is. And it's kind of a little complicated. But what it is, I'm a big guy. I like to lay on my left side. I like put a pillow between my knees. I hold one and I crunch one up here. That's my sleep etiquette. See? Now this girl I broke up with, our sleep etiquette was completely off. She used to like to sleep on her back with her knees in the air in other guys' beds. Goofed up our feng shui. Thank you for your time, folks.
Phone right now and call Lola at 727-441-3311. Again, that's Lola at 727-441-3311. Or for even faster service, log on to tantalkhealth.com. That's tantalkhealth.com. Here's to your health and longevity.
Make sure you tune in to the only FM sports talk show in the Tampa Bay area on Saturday afternoons from 3 to 6. That's right, 3 hours now of the evolution of sports talk radio, the Sports Web. We give you your own walk-up music. We let you call in twice, and we don't hang up on you like those other sports talk shows do. On Saturday afternoons in the Tampa Bay area, it's the Sports Web with your host, Peter Blake, along with Sean, the Sports Don. So every Saturday afternoon from 3 to 6, it's the Sports Web on the Tan Talk Sports Network.
Don't turn it off now. You need this stuff. Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network.
All right, folks, welcome back to imho.love. And if you're digging that intro and outro music. That's the Scorpions, Coast to Coast. Even though it's a hard song not to love. It's like if your life had a rock video, I want that to be my music. Like, here he is going into the 7-Eleven. He notes that coffee's on sale. He's going to get one for everybody.
Yeah, actually, speaking of movies, I'm driving here today in my beat-up old Camry, and I'm trying to make it to the show on time.
Right, and you did.
I did, and of course, it dawns on me that it's the 2018 equivalent of the 1964 Malibu in Repo Man.
So it has magical powers.
It does. It's a time machine.
Well, folks, I know we advertised throughout the week on the imho.love show. Our friend BL was going to be on the show with us tonight, but consequently, she has pulled up lame
and decided not to try to redeposit her check that we gave her to be on the show tonight.
And but she's a little under the weather, and we're looking forward to having her back real soon. And then our friend Carolyn Rongo, who has a website called Spiritual Awakenings 101, which now that you've seen the light, now that you're awake, now what? So that's kind of like a little spiritual primer. But consequently, her situation, her schedule got banged up this evening, so she was not able to make it. So it's just Michael and I and all you folks out there. And thank you so much for listening. And it's so good to see all of you. Mahone, good to see you, buddy. And
hey, I'd like to thank Peter for putting on one of your routines during the break there.
How did you like that, folks? Was that good for you? That's better than watching the ads, don't you think?
Or the puppet show that I had imagined.
Well, we can do the
puppet show would have been interesting, but I thought that was kind of cool. We'll get all the kinks worked out.
Yeah.
It'll be even better and more crisper, and we'll get you a banner or two up there.
Yeah.
I got some plans, all right?
Petey, you're our boy.
Yes, sir.
And I definitely want to say hi to Pam's sister, Wendy, up in upstate New York. She's listening with her son, Griffin, and Vaughn. And so they're really cool kids, really nice guys. And my buddy Brett Falicon up there, who just missed the hurricane up there. He has that car lot up in Perry. And he just missed Hurricane Michael. And
good one to miss.
Yeah, it was a good one to miss. But anyway, folks, here we are back. It's imho.love.
Want to go out to the phone lines? We got another phone call.
We got a phone call.
Yeah.
Hey, well, go ahead. Bring them on. Welcome to imho.love. Who am I talking to?
Hello, Mike. It's Kevin. Kevin Briggs. How are you?
Hello, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
Boy, your name has been in my atmosphere for a couple of days now.
Oh, that's good.
It is really good, and all positive reports. And I think my girlfriend Pamela has a crush on you. I'm not real sure.
Oh, but I love that. Thanks.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's okay with me. You're a good guy.
That's fine.
And we would love to have you on the show as soon as our schedules align.
Oh, that would be great. I wasn't phoning for that. I was actually phoning because I listened last week and I enjoyed it immensely, and I thought I'd listen again this week. And I think it's a great platform that you guys have to promote the exo-consciousness humans as we are now.
Yes.
As you are aware, I'm an experienced of 56 years, and I think what you guys are doing is just tremendous. So I just wanted to call in and say thank you for what you're doing.
Well, you're very welcome, and it's an absolute privilege. You know, I've been dinking around with radio for 30 years and really never knew exactly where it was going to lead. But here we are. It's 2018. I got Michael, who is like, we nicknamed him Mikepedia. He carries so much knowledge, and he has such a loving spirit that is such a trustable guy, and I try to present myself as transparent as possible. But Kevin, I met you at the Miami conference, and I got the same feeling from you. As I really think, and Ray Hernandez called in the first half, and he was talking about how the small grays were interacting with children in schoolyards, playing games and that kind of thing. And I think the thing that I'm identifying with, and this is one of the ways that when we do our prayer or our invocation for the communications, is we present ourselves in a real innocent fashion. And I believe that is what that's what this energy attracts. It attracts a beautiful level of innocence. Because there's really nothing, we didn't bring our guns. We don't have any agenda. We're not trying to capture their spacecraft or anything like that. All we're doing is reaching out within our consciousness to interact. And
yes, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. My experience is that they are extremely friendly. They want to help us. They want to share their knowledge of consciousness with us, to help us develop and move on to the next stage of our evolution, really. And that's the message they've been giving me for many years. And just recently they asked me to share my stories with them and asked me to talk about it. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have done. I would just kept my experiences to myself. But now I'm open to speaking about it, and I'm meeting so many wonderful people. It's turned my life around. It's just unbelievable, really.
Well, it's one of the benefits of kind of coming out of the closet as an intelligent, well-balanced human being.
I like that term. Coming out of the closet. I'll tell my wife that. I'll tell her I've come out of the closet.
Well, yeah. I mean, when I did this, my friends at Princeton all gave me a hard time about it. And how could you do this? Everybody's going to think you're crazy. Everybody thinks you're nuts. It was like, well, just think of it as like being the new gay, okay? I mean, gay, transvestite, it's all passé by now. Experiencer contactee is...
First time I've been compared to a gay, not that I'm trying to get that, but that is funny.
Hey, yeah, that's right. I said gay, not gray.
Oh, gray might have been more better. Might have been better. Yeah.
Hey, does this moo make my butt look skinny?
And for those that haven't read it, Spiritual Consciousness: A Personal Journey by Kevin Briggs. I read it. I had it last week. I read it through. It's just absolutely a wonderful book, Kevin. I'm so glad you wrote it. And I was thrilled with the conclusions you came up with in your final chapter in the epilogue. I am so on board with virtually everything you wrote there.
Well, I do appreciate you mentioning it last week. It was unexpected, and I would like to thank you for that. It was very gracious of you to do that.
Well, you're welcome. And that's what we're here to do, is to spread information and consciousness, love, gratitude. Nothing happens by chance. It's all interrelated. We're not here because of any serendipitous reason. We're here because it's all interconnected.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah.
And
it's just a quick call just to say hi and thank you for it's just amazing that we have a platform now for experiences and to move forward with information about exo-consciousness. So that's really what I was calling to say, really. But yeah, if you could have me on your show, that would be.
Well, we'll talk about dates and times, Kevin, and we'll give it enough up ramp so we can really promote it well and get everybody listening.
Yeah, and if you haven't, Kevin, go on to the meetup site and has posted 2 new videos, one from September and one from October, on a number of the craft that we had seen. What Ken and I have to do at this point is get together, because I take notes every night and I log in. And I've been doing this so much, I'm more concerned with logging in and correlating everything now that I have people that want to take photographs and videotapes and things like that. So if somebody comes along and says, "Oh, I know, I was a bug there. That was a bug," and I was like, and I've got it on my notes saying, "Yeah, it was in orbit 35,000 feet going west to north through Cassiopeia." It makes a whole lot more sense,
Well,
yeah, I did actually see those that were posted today by Ken. Absolutely amazing. Again, it's just promoting, the changes in our world at this moment in time.
And what's the meetup page?
Oh, the meetup page is Tampa CE5 Ambassadors to the Universe. If you're local and you want to show up and want to learn how to do this, or if you're an experienced already, come on into the meetup page and join up if you wish. We got over 70 members, and that doesn't count spouses and significant others. But, I'm also trying to encourage or teach people how to create their own CE5 groups. So after they've been here and they want to go someplace else to go back home, they can, start their own group. They can use my protocol if they wish. They can develop their own. We have spaces, overnight spaces at Darby. It doesn't cost you anything, and if we get overrun with people, I can always bring out the tent. So
we'll start buying some campers. Well, Kevin, it's interesting. The thing that I contemplate this all the time. It's one of my favorite things to think about, and when I do, and when I notice that the innocence is the thing that's being identified, it just warms my heart, because I really do believe, there's a lot of different scenarios. You can look at global history any way you want, but in this time that we're experiencing so many things with parallels to the Aztec calendar, with parallels to biblical calendars, this is a very, very special time for us to all be alive. And I think seeing as the extraterrestrial contact we've been having has been friendly, loving, and innocent, that just fortifies what I believe in the very, very depth of my heart and soul, that is what the Christ consciousness is, and that's what each person on this earth is looking for. Whether you can find it or not, is the secret of it is letting go of your ego to make enough room for this. And
yes, I would agree with that entirely. And I've been told there's a divine plan, and by divine grace, we will have a divine manifestation.
Yes.
And they're tremendous words that were given to me by my extended extraterrestrial family. And that's a great thing for us as a species to move forward, to understand that, and just develop ourselves, really. So, yes, I agree entirely with what you're saying.
Yes, and I also do believe, too, on the other side of our society, the turmoil of evil and greed and hate and pain, I believe, is reaching its threshold. And it can no longer even contain itself, because it has grown to such a artificially abysmal level of communication and being that it's only a matter of time before it burns itself out. And with these type of connections in place, where we have a loving, innocent connection with extraterrestrials and amongst ourselves, we will find that all that confusion that we've been feeling all of our lives, all of that emptiness, all that dark space, it had a reason, but now we can be done with it, and we can move on to brighter, more serene pastures, because this truth is becoming more and more evident every day.
It is, without a doubt, and more people are talking about it. Excuse me. I know when I wrote the book and I declared it all to my friends, you'd be surprised how many of my friends have got their own contact experiences, their own special experiences that they've experienced, and they share them with you, because you've come out to speak about them, others will. And I think that's what your show is doing. It will bring many thousands of us out there to share our experiences with other people. And then we become the norm rather than the tin hat brigade or the oddball.
Yeah.
One can only hope.
It's funny. There was, there's a lot of things that we study that go along with the periphery of this, and a lot of it is, global deception, and you find things like, the 9/11 event that literally has triggered wars and killed millions of people out of that one action of one day by the minds of a lot of the people that are in charge of the chaos. Okay. And there was a guy posted. He didn't post it directly on my site, but I think he knew I was watching, and he was saying, "Can you believe that 1/3 of Americans believe that 9/11 was an inside job?" Or and he says, "What do you do with morons like this?"
You listen to him. You start listening and shut up.
Well, for one, the fact that he thinks that we're morons,
right.
and I'm making an assumption here. Maybe he believes the 9/11 committee report.
Right, or like the Warren Commission report, or maybe we can reconstruct this experiment and do it scientifically, and we also actually can't because it's too expensive, but we can also take note that never in the history of mankind before or after has any high-rise building burned down and collapsed into its own shoe print because an airplane hit it or an interior fire.
Right. And, I mean, we can go on and on from here. The fact that the World Trade Centers were absolutely engineering not engineering nightmares, engineering wonders.
Yeah, and they were built to withstand the hit from a 747.
Right.
So, without even going into that, it's the same cabal that fed us this line of crap that continues to, stymie the disclosure movement. Look, this isn't about disclosure, it's about CE5. We've managed to circumvent the entire disclosure issue because guess what? We don't need governments to tell us what's real.
Right.
We don't need churches to tell us what's in their heart. And we don't need anybody except like-minded people who love and care for us to teach us how to make connections with our extraterrestrial brothers and sisters who are going to take us to the next level physically and spiritually. This is not a lot of hogwash. It's what they're here for. They're finally here to help. I think they're sick and tired. They won't let us destroy ourselves and wipe out this, wonderfully beautiful and incredible planet that's meant to support life, not to terminate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree entirely. We should have met years ago, really. We did either. I can't believe it. And I'm from the UK and you're from the US, so we've got a common ground here, haven't we?
Well, we're all very, very connected, and I think what it is each of us have experienced, and like I said a couple of minutes ago, when you can shed enough of your ego to perhaps put yourself out there and maybe be counted wrong by many or shunned or whatever, but if you know in your heart that what you're presenting is truthful and kind, there's no reason to shelter from it or be away from it. And now here you were. And where is your beautiful accent from, Kevin? Where's your hometown?
I'm from England originally, from the north of England, sort of Leeds, Manchester area. I live in Groveland, Florida now, and I've lived here for 17 years now.
Oh boy, I love Groveland.
I haven't lost my accent.
You know what's weird? I lived in Claremont 20 years ago, and. Yeah, so we probably sat at the same traffic light together.
We may well have. Yeah, we may have looked across the steering wheel together.
Well, Kevin, we really, really would love to have you on. And just to kind of tell everybody, I mean, you can make an assumption that we understand who we're inviting in. But Kevin is a channeler. And he, well, I'll let you explain it better than I can.
Sure.
Okay. A channeler is someone that can channel using consciousness itself to communicate with extraterrestrials. There are quite a few of us. I came into it accidentally. We had a group of friends down, we were meditating, and I was asked, can you see anybody? Can you feel anybody? And I said, no, I can't see anybody. No. And then a friend of mine, Melanie, said, are you sure you can't see anything? I said, well, I can feel someone stood next to me. And she said, well, who is it? I said, I don't know. So I asked him, and it was my long-time guide, Ott. Then Ott then spoke through me using his consciousness to speak to the group. And then from then on, that was a couple of years ago, I've been communicating with them that way for a couple of years now. And it still amazes me when I do it. It was accidental, but I'm sure nothing is accidental. They've guided me to that stage to where I'm able to do that now. So it's very interesting, and I'm in awe when I do it myself. But yes, it's an amazing thing. But it's a direct communication to our ET extended families, which is an amazing thing.
Yeah, after I watched you do it in Miami, you know, I had been, for a long time, I'd been a real skeptic about channeling, and then I kind of rolled across the Raw tapes and the Law of One, and then started realizing that, wow, there is viable channeling going on out there. I also met up with my friend Hollis Polk, another classmate of mine, and watched her do it in a very subtle way. And when she channeled, she basically said, "Look, my information is we're going to see a ship appear at 1:30 over the mountains over there, or 1:15, and there'll be another ship after it, and boom, 3 hours later, 1:15, ship appears, and another one follows it." And then, when I watched Kevin do it, after he came off stage, he was soaking wet. He was sweating.
Yes.
I mean, you don't go through an experience like that. You can't fake it like that. That was a complete physiological change in another human being. So, if it had been a fake or something I was suspicious of, Kevin wouldn't be calling us up here today, because I think he's the real deal.
The energy, that particular ET uses, I have channeled him before, but he's very strong. Some of the other ones that I channel are much more convivial, shall we say. I'm very used to them. In fact, Art, the guy that I've been in contact with since age of 8, he will have a conversation with you, and it's just like a normal conversation. And that's an amazing thing. In fact, I'm hoping to channel Art at your next C5 meeting. He has requested that I do that.
Yes, we've requested that you do that when we do the convocation, and we're running kind of out of time, so we'll give you the universal convocation to our guests or our listeners next time we're on the air. Maybe that might get them interested in doing this.
And
okay, well, won't keep you. I didn't mean to hog your show.
Oh.
I called in to say hi and thank you. So,
well, let's get together. Let's look at our calendars and find out when a good time to have you on. We'll have you on for the entire hour. And this is the kind of thing that is that I think the world is calling for, and I want to be submissive to its demands. So, Kevin, thank you so much for your time this evening, and we'll have you on the imho.love show real soon.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Yes, it is a plan, absolutely.
Night, Kevin.
Good night, Kevin. And the amount of stuff that literally is available to us these days, and that was kind of the topic of tonight, was the Library of Babel, or the immensity of information. We got 6 minutes? Okay.
Wow. 6 minutes to cover Borges. Oh my God. Here, let me cut through it, okay?
Okay.
All right. Lou sends me this article by a guy that I read when I was in college, Jorge Luis Borges. He's an Argentinian. He also wrote the Book of Imaginary Beings. Okay. Now I was a second year student, and I had to take Spanish as a mandatory language.
And this is at Princeton?
At Princeton, okay?
Okay.
And one of the zingers they gave us was the Book of Imaginary Beings, okay? Here I am struggling to get my C- in Spanish, and they throw us this book, and it's like, I can't, really? How can you put those two words together? And it's like, oh, the title of the book is Imaginary Beings. So it was like, if I had the choice to read that book again or take the bar exam 10 times, I would take the bar exam 10 times before I had to read that book. So Lou throws me this article on the Tower of Babel, and oh my God.
Yeah. It's the confounding of languages, which, if those are who are Bible students out there, because they say the Creator confounded our languages to, I don't know, I got two takes on this. Either there was one universal language at the time, and then all of the languages got fragmented to divide the people, okay? Or the other side of it was there were always an amount of languages, but they were even more divided after that particular time. So, but what this was, and the reason that the Tower of Babel happened the way it did, is there were people trying to be like the Most High. They were trying to reach a godlike status. And this is my take on most of this stuff, is they were too full of ego to get there. In fact, one of my favorite ego-relating stories is the story of Moses. When God told Moses, or the Creator Spirit told Moses, or Moshe, said, all you have to do is speak to the rock and water will come forth.
All right, Moshe, talk to the rock.
Just talk to the rock. That's a very good Christopher Walken, by the way. But Moses, struck the rock with his stick or his staff and made a big production out of it. He knew the water was going to come by his command, but he was told just to speak to the rock, but he put some humanity in there, and that's what gave it ego. And then also, my personal take on this, because that's the show, IMHO, is that was what kept him from ever seeing the promised land, was he still had too much ego to hang on.
Yeah, that's a good interpretation. I really love the way you look at that. And, the less you can do about, the less ego you have, the better. Once again, lives of simplicity, patience, and compassion. We'll go into something next week on that. But my take on that is, look, this is an almost impossible read. It's it's kind of a cross between Kafka's Insect and The Trial, and Plato's Cave, and it's really difficult. But bottom line is all systems tend towards maximum entropy and chaos, and that in itself is kind of a conundrum, because a second law of thermodynamics basically says these are the laws of the universe, and we're trying to organize things. However, because it's maximum entropy, no matter how we try and organize it, no matter how we try to taxonomize it or control it, you can't do it. It all goes to hell, and eventually it all goes to hell in a handbasket. And when you put people in it, the larger the group, like we said in the beginning of the show when we were kidding about it too big to fail. Yeah. No, that's exactly the opposite. The bigger you are, the more likely you are to fail, because it gets out of the bounds of the ability of human beings to interrelate.
Yes. Well, wow. That's and that's what so you get a fractionated opinion. Even if you started out with a good slogan, then there's going to be derivations of the slogan, and then there's going to be asterisks next to the slogan, and then there's going to be interpretations of the slogan. Right. And that's what we're talking about right now, is the immensity of information and that's available to us right now. And we talked about the internet actually giving everyone a voice of some sort. And there's a real funny thing too. People say, oh, well, the Wikipedia, that's something that you can edit on your own. I sat through a Corbett report where he was actually trying to repair or correct.
Can't do it.
A report about him.
Yeah, you can't do it. I'm in Wikipedia. I'm Biggest Loser. They talked all about my son dying, about him being a Marine, which he wasn't. Right. I mean, I tried to correct it, and they was like, I'm sorry, you can't correct this. We've already written it. And yeah, it is. It's an impossibility.
Right. So in other words, Wikipedia is, I don't know, just another opinion.
Just another opinion. A bad one. Hey, bottom line for me on this is utopian visions cannot take the place of the Tao.
Amen. Amen. Wow. That's deep, and that's the way it should be. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have spent another hour with Lou Angelwolf, Michael Murburg. BL, I hope you feel better, honey. Carolyn Rongo, come on in when you can and discuss your wonderful visions. And Kevin Blake?
Kevin Briggs. Kevin J. Briggs.
We can't wait to have you on the show. Thank you, everybody, for listening in. Our friends up in upstate New York, Wendy and the boys, thank you so much. Pamela, thanks for all the assistance you give me throughout the week. This is the fastest hour of the week. Pete Blake, your sports show's going really good, buddy.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you.
And boy, those Bucks give you something to talk about, don't they?
Oh, they do. They do. They definitely do. So,
and we got thanks Ray Hernandez and thanks etletstalk.com, and we'll go to our other sponsor groups next week when we get a chance to talk about you again. Thanks again for having us.
Yes, absolutely. And in fact, if you want a CE5 protocol, go to disabilityattorney.net. And Michael will send you one as you get in touch with them. Thank you so much. Bless you all. And thank you for the love in your hearts and the wonderful energies you send this show. And we'll see you again next week.